What is going on, everybody? Hey, what really is going on? I'm trying to figure out because I get so many calls from people and so many friends who talk to me about friends whose marriages are in trouble. We are having a difficult time getting along in this relationship called marriage, this prized, precious, desirable relationship called marriage. Why are we having such a difficult time making our marriages fly? I want to talk about the number one reason that I believe so many marriages struggle. And I want to talk about it and offer some hope, some direction, some clarity. There is a principal reason why perhaps your marriage is struggling and your friends' marriages are struggling and other people's marriages are struggling. And we want to get into that in this episode where we'll talk about the number one reason so many marriages are struggling. Hey, we're going to talk about why so many marriages are struggling. I'm Rod Harrison. I am a marriage coach. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a pastor. I care about marriages. And I believe you can have an amazing marriage. I believe you should keep pursuing having a healthy, strong, vibrant marriage. Don't give up on your marriage, but there's a reason why so many of us are struggling. And I was in the same place. Me and my wife were in the very same place for years, trying to figure out why, in fact, we were struggling. Hey, I have something that will help you begin to break through to a dynamic marriage. So, one where you are deeply satisfied in your marriage. It's my free Happy Marriage Workshop. I want you to click on the link in the description. Go get it. It's just for you. Listen, it's free. There's no obligations to anything. Just go and get it. Let's help marriages. Now, as we're talking about this, why so many people are struggling with their marriages, it's related to why I started this YouTube channel, why I've been coaching couples for many years. I've been coaching um, couples with high profiles in the National Football League. I'm very honored to have entree into that space. I was a chaplain and life coach for 14 years. I worked with Division One NC2A athletes as they were dating and deciding on marriage. Been at this for a long time. I've studied it in grad school. I've been married for over 31 years. I'm deeply invested in this relationship. I had how would I say, a deep resolution before I got married. And you'll learn more about my story as we get to know each other. But my deep resolution was I'm never going to leave my wife and my children. I wanted to be married. I wanted to be successfully married. I wanted to be beautifully married, happily married, right? I wanted to be deeply satisfied in my marriage. I wanted to build a great family with someone. And God has blessed me. I have an amazing wife who's been just a breath of fresh air in my life. It has not always been easy, however. So let's talk about the number one reason why so many marriages struggle. You're like, can you get to the point already? I've been waiting for you to talk about what the number one reason is why so many marriages struggle. Yes, we're going to talk about my number one reason why I believe so many marriages struggle. Here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what you went to school for. Like, what did you go to school to study? If you went to, whether it was through up through high school, let's just assume you graduated up through high school, but most of you have gone on to college, you have graduate degrees, some of you have doctoral degrees, some of you have multiple degrees. I want you to think about how much time and money and energy you invested in your educational journey. I know doctors who are brilliant surgeons, brilliant physicians, wonderful, amazing people, right? They have storied journeys um, through their studies and into their medical careers. I know people in business and in sports, same kind of deal, right? Who have been highly educated. But here's why we struggle in marriage, because nobody was educating us in the most important relationship of our lives, humanly speaking, the marriage relationship. Right? Yeah, you get a little bit of an education along the way when you watch your parents, perhaps, or you watch people in your community and their marriages, but there's been no emphasis on healthy marriage relationship. Yep, we got sex education in middle school. That ain't help, I promise you. There's been no emphasis on education. Who taught you how to be married? Oh, holler back at me right now in the comments. Who taught you how to be married? Right? Where did you learn? Like, how many hours did you invest? Have you thought about how many hours you invested in your educational journey? How many hours you invested? I mean, how many dollars you invested in your educational journey? Like, how much focus you put into becoming, an engineer or a business person or a doctor or a teacher, right? Whatever your discipline is, you invested time in the process of being educated and you invested dollars or got scholarships or whatever it was. The number one reason why we struggle in our marriages is most of us are not educated in marriage. That's really what I think it is, right? We're not educated. So, we've invested in education, but we have not invested in the marriage relationship the same way we invested in the process of being educated. This is a true story. I once officiated for a couple who spent $100,000 on linens alone at their wedding. You heard me absolutely right. They spent $100,000 on linens and flowers for their wedding, right? I don't know how much you spent on your wedding, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. I don't know how much you spent on your wedding. Have you spent that much invested in the process of learning how to be married? This is a real serious issue because what I've seen is that when people say, "Hey, can you help me, figure out my marriage?" Usually people come when they are in a crisis, right? They're in a crisis, things are not going well, they're struggling, the communication's not going well, the connection is breaking down, right? They're trying to rebound from broken trust somewhere along the way, and they just can't seem to connect. And I've sent them to resources, and oftentimes they'll say, "Hey, that's pretty expensive." Like a premarital preparation class, I sent one couple to. I think it was going to cost them $130 for like 8 sessions. They're like, "Nah, we're not doing that. That's too much money." I'm like, "You want that for free? You want somebody to teach you how to succeed in the most precious relationship of your life. You want that for free." Y'all help me out with that one. That doesn't make any sense to me, right? So if you're going to get good at this relationship, you have to invest in it. You have to invest time to learn how it works. You have to invest financial resources so it can grow, but you got to invest in things that are going to yield a return. But that's one of the reasons, right? That's one of the parts of this number one reason, right? Why so many marriages are struggling is because they're uneducated, but they also don't understand the value of investing in a marriage education. So here's what I've learned. Divorce in most states costs around $10,000. In many other states, it's about $15,000. That's just a simple divorce proceedings, right? To get a lawyer, go through the whole process, $10,000 to $15,000. In the state of New York, you're starting at $25,000. And then you add on to that the costs associated with living in two different homes. You add to that the cost of child support. You add to that the alimony involved oftentimes. You add to that the loss of income that comes with breaking up, right? Where there are no longer two incomes in the same household, right? It is extraordinarily expensive, right, to get a divorce. And you oftentimes want your marriage to fly for free, for no investment. I'm trying to help you correct a mindset. I'm trying to encourage you to like invest in good resources. Now, full disclosure, right? I create resources for couples. I want to see you when I've created a course called the Dream Marriage Masterclass. This is a free resource that I've just shared with you. My free happy marriage workshop. I teach. I've written books, right? But you don't have to get mine. But invest in something that's going to work to help you improve your marriage. Now, I'm biased toward mine. Yes, I am. And I hope you will access my resources. I'll give you information how you can do that. But I really want to challenge you to invest in your marriage relationship. That's one thing. Invest financially, invest time learning, spend time, right? You cannot get a return on something you don't invest in. Let me give you another thing that's important if you're going to really become educated in this relationship called marriage. You have to think value over price. Value, not price, value over price. Because we're so stuck on price. But you paid the price to go to college. You paid the price because you were thinking, yeah, why would I spend $20,000 or $30,000 a year for an education? Because the value of it is that I will get out of college or out of graduate school and I will be able to earn my way through my life for the rest of my life. You were thinking value more than price. When you're thinking about your marriage, investing in resources, courses, books are great. Counseling is great. By the way, you can spend $20,000 going to a counselor if you go to counseling 3 times a month to the average counselor. That's $20,000 in a year. $20,000 in a year. Yep. I've seen people do it, right? But when you're in a crisis, you're looking for resources. And when you wait till the crisis happens, you actually spend more. That's what I've learned. You spend more. But I want you to learn to think value above price, because the value of an education in your marriage means that now investing a little bit yields extraordinary dividends. You don't have to go to divorce court. Your children don't have to go through the stress of a divided family. You get to build a legacy. You get to keep your marriage and not have to live in 2 homes and pay a divorce lawyer and all of those things, right? You get to really succeed without the turmoil and the stress ripping your relationship apart. So if a course costs, I don't know, $200 or $500 or $1,000, right? Or I've paid way more than that for courses because I'm investing in my own development as a leader. All I'm saying is you have to learn to think value more than you think price. Ask yourself, what is the value of this to me? What is the benefit beyond the pain of making a payment? All right. So value over price. We're talking about investing in the education of marriage. Can I give you one other thought here? Be mindful of the models you embrace because, as they say, more is caught than is actually taught. But if you embrace models that are broken, right, you'll be actually educating yourself backwards, if you will. You'll be educating yourself in the wrong direction. And I just want to encourage you, right, as you think about your marriage relationship, get an education in marriage that is meaningful, that is proven, that will help you get to the real issues. All right, let me give you one last thought here that I think can be helpful. So how do I know if the education I'm getting is going to be the right one, the helpful one, the one to invest in, the one to focus on, to spend time and energy learning from. I think there are a few things you want to get to. One, is it what's the word I'm looking for? Um, is it sound, right? I'm big on the intersection between theology and psychology, right? And so when I coach people that I coach, I bring both of those to the table. My training helped me develop my understanding of theology and psychology, right? Psychology means the study of the soul. It's how we work, how we are nurtured from the inside out, how we're developed, how we respond to pain and problems in life, who we are on the inside. Theology is the study of God. And so in all of my work with couples, I bring those two things together to help people understand how their relationship with one another can be positively influenced from both a perspective of psychology and theology, right? How to strengthen connections with their spouse, how to help each other heal, right? The place of prayer and scripture in the marriage and in the home, right? So you'll know you're getting help if there is a strong, clear, proven, that's really important, proven delivery of psychology and theology. I think that's one of the ways you can know. Here's the next thing I think is really important to boost your education. It's got to be practical, right? Not so much behaviorally driven. I think there are good behaviors that we can all learn and implement, but it's the what you learn must be things that you can begin to practice right now that will make a difference, right? And so you want to learn things that are not so theoretically based, but things that make a difference every day. Here's a third thing that I found to be a real game changer: the kind of coaching um, that leads to each other, right? Each spouse focusing on or making a part of their educational pursuit of marriage, learning how to help your spouse heal. All right. Because oftentimes we go to therapy or we get somebody to help us. You go to a class or to a conference or a retreat, and you want the leaders of those events or the writers of those books to help you figure out how to navigate marriage, right? How we can have a better marriage, right? What do I need to do? What does my spouse need to do? We got to both do our part, and then we can have a healthy marriage. Here's a game changer: when you realize that you came with wounds, you came with trauma in your past, you came with baggage, which we call just shapings um, from our life background, our our upbringing, right? We all bring those things. Your spouse brings the same kinds of things, but what we don't realize is that one of the reasons you are together is to help the other person heal. That's a whole education right there. That's a whole education. So I just want to challenge you. Why are we struggling with marriages and in our marriages? We're struggling because largely in America, at least, and in the Western world, we've focused on get your career, get your education, learn how to make some money. We have spent very little time investing in the education of marriage. And I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you to invest in learning about marriage, right? And so, again, I mentioned this to you. There's a free marriage workshop just for you, right? It'll help you begin that process, right? You'll get to learn, at least from me, what I've developed that's been research based, it's been proven, tested, right? A 6-stage process for how to make your marriage better, how to improve your marriage, how to understand yourself, your spouse, how to understand your needs, your spouse's needs, how to begin meeting those needs. You're going to learn what does it mean for us to engage in helping the other person heal, and why is that so important? And so I want to encourage you, grab this free resource. Yep, grab the free resources right there just for you. Now, it's not everything that you'll need, but I think it'll begin to turn some wheels in your thinking, help you begin to move forward. And if you're interested in other resources that I have made available, then you can feel free to check them out. If you don't, that's fine, right? You don't have to. There's no obligation. I just want to make some resources available. I want to be a help to marriages. I want to see your marriage win. Now, I got to say this. This is sort of private desires, right? I would love to be your marriage coach and mentor. I'm just putting it out there, right? I would love to help you the same way that I've invested and still do invest in many marriages across the country. I'd love to be your marriage coach and mentor. Imagine if you had somebody taking 31 plus years of experience, all of my failures, my mistakes, right? I'm pretty transparent. Imagine if you had somebody walking with you, journeying with you, answering your questions, giving you solid um, um, insights and teachings and principles that you can practically apply and improve your marriage. Here's, by the way, one of the things I've seen. Most marriages are not beyond repair. Most marriages, when they're struggling, when they're in crisis, when they're failing, they're not beyond repair. They simply need helpful guidance. Now, I studied counseling in graduate school, and I think there are a lot of great therapists out there. I've read a lot of books on marriage. Trust you me, I read a lot of them. I've written a couple of them. I think books have a great place to be catalytic, but I'm finding that real transformation happens when you have someone walking alongside you, someone who's there to answer questions, right? That's how I became better at it, right? I had guidance, I had mentors, I've had coaching, I've been working on my life. I'm still working on my life, but working on my marriage so that I could be a better, effective husband, father, all of those things, right? Getting guidance. And so I extend that to you. Um, I may not work for you, but that's fine. But I'm just telling you, right? Education is key, and we have not done a good job in our nation, around the world, of teaching people how to have a deeply satisfying marriage. So again, I offer to you my course as a resource. Right? Go get it. Go check it out. Let it be a help to you. Let it help you grow. Let it help you um, get to the next place in your marriage. Hey, it was great to be with you today. I'm Rod Hairston, and I lead a great effort called Dream Marriage, marriage coaching, Dream Marriage coaching, just to help couples. I'm telling you, I'm having the time of my life, right? Being able to pour into couples from all around the country. And if you need mentoring or coaching, hey, let me know. Hit me up. Click on the link in the description, and let's see if there's a way that I can be helpful to your marriage. All right. Hey, have a great rest of your day. I will look forward to seeing you in the next episode.